Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my closet. Baby girl is napping, so I'm gonna film in here. And I didn't have the energy today to really pull up my lights and things. But as promised, this is gonna be my labor and delivery story. And as promised, I look more presentable. So I went ahead and did my hair. This is like an old wig I had, and I just did the bleach bath method, one curl, some mousse. And I just did a little bit of makeup. Excuse my brows, they desperately need to be waxed. So hopefully I get them waxed tomorrow while we're out running errands with the baby. I'm trying to drink more water. So I have my water. So my labor and delivery story. I'm going to try my best not to make this video too long because she's napping. And I don't know when she's going to wake up. So we're going to jump right in. So if you are like labor and delivery girl, when did you have a baby? I don't know, you're pregnant. Just check the description box down below to my last 2 uploads and you'll be all caught up to speed. Okay, so I had Summer Rose on a Thursday, so I'm going to take you back to that Sunday. So that Sunday, I had to drive up to, I believe I had to drive to Calhoun, Georgia. I believe that's where I went. So it's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from where I live in Atlanta. So I had to drive up there to meet my aunt because she had some like baby items that my uncle had gave her for me, so I had to go get them. Because at the time, I was like 23 weeks in some days. So I was like, what does that mean? Like I was in my 6th month of pregnancy and it was burning hot outside. Like I just want to get it over with. So I drove up there. Now, prior to me doing that, I had a crazy loss of appetite. So I had stopped really eating and I had started to lose weight. So a few people were concerned because I'm almost all 6 months pregnant and I'm losing weight. So a little bit, I was also a little bit concerned, but I just didn't have the appetite to eat no matter how hard I tried. On my way back from Calhoun, I had stopped at Taco Bell. Something told me like, do not eat the Taco Bell. Do not do it. I took 2 bites at Taco Bell and I had to pull over on the side of the highway because I had to vomit. And I was sick all the way through. I came home. When I got home, I had vomiting. I had severe sweating. It was a lot. I got so sick. So that was Sunday. I called out of work Monday, and Monday I kind of just stayed home and tried to ease my stomach. Still not much of an appetite, but I just didn't feel well. So Monday night I felt better, so I called my job and said, hey, I'll just be in Tuesday. So Monday night, so Monday going into Tuesday, like around 2 a.m., I had a sharp pain like up under my belly. And so I was like, what is this? And it kept me up all night. I mean, like sharp pain. It felt like lightning was going at the bottom of my belly. So it kept me up all night. Tuesday, I went to work and I called my OB office and let the woman who answered the phone know that that's the pain I was having. She said, oh, it sounds like you're having round ligament pain, which is normal around this time of pregnancy. So I was like, never heard of it. She said for me to take Tylenol every 4 to 6 hours to ease the pain. So my lunch break, I went and got the Tylenol, and then I researched what round ligament pain was. So you can Google it, but it's just something that someone may experience during pregnancy. And then I have found this woman's video here on YouTube. The video is old, but I had found her video here on YouTube, and she was having the same symptoms I was having, like just the sharp pain, like right up underneath the bed, right up underneath the belly, like everything I was feeling, she was feeling. So I'm like, cool, it's the round ligament pain. The only issue I was having was that the Tylenol wasn't working. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, it kind of eased up. No, Tuesday night, it eased up, and because I was able to sleep. And I'm like, okay, maybe the Tylenol is working. I got up Wednesday morning, and my belly felt so heavy. I had like this heaviness, like underneath my stomach, in my vajayjay. It just felt heavy to the point to where I couldn't really walk. So I'm just like walking real slow because I just couldn't. And I remember like my coworker being like, you walking real slow, scary slow. And I was just like, yeah, I know, but I can't walk no faster. This is Wednesday. So I went through the whole day Wednesday just not really able to like do anything. And then on top of that, I had been constipated for days, So I was taking Docalax, like the stool softener, to just try to help me use the bathroom. Oh my gosh. So then we get to Thursday. That Thursday I turned 24 weeks pregnant. So I'm like, oh, it's almost over. I gotta get through it. I got me 24 weeks in. So Thursday morning I woke up and the pain was worse. Like, I mean, I couldn't walk to the point to where I'm like dragging my feet. Like I was constipated. I was going through it. And I was from a scale of 1 to 10, the pain was like a 20. Like I just was in so much pain. And then, so I have to be at work at 8 a.m. The day I just kind of tried to ignore it, and I'm popping them Tylenols like ain't nobody business, but I'm trying to also be careful because I'm pregnant. So I had called my daughter's dad, I want to say like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was just like, something's wrong. So he was just like, well, do you want to go to the hospital? And I was like, no, I'm not a hospital person. I'm not a doctor's person. My dad is the same way. Like it takes a lot for us to go to the doctor. So he was like, do you want to go to the doctor? And I was like, no, I don't. So he was just like, well, call me when you want to go to the doctor. So so then Thursday, like my lunch break was at 12. I went in my car and I tried to take a nap, and I just couldn't get comfortable, which normally I can get comfortable in my car, take a nap. So like around 3, the pain got so bad, I'm like on the wall, like, and my coworker is like giving me like okay, 1, 2, and we just back there, and other coworkers are walking by like, what is going on? So because I had one other coworker come by who was just like, you okay? And I was like, give me a second. And he was like, okay. He like backed off. But anyway, so, and then I would just pace. In the area we were in, I would just pace the area. And he would just watch me in case I fell or something happened. Because my belly, with the fibroids, my belly was like, I was 6 months pregnant, but I looked as if I was about 9 months pregnant. So that's how big my belly was. So I'm just pacing. 4:30 rolls around. No, so that's like around 2:30. Like around 3:30 rolls around. I'm realizing that I can't do number one. Like I can't urinate. Now I'm scared because I'm just like, I'm already constipated, but now I know I have to pee, but nothing's coming out. So I'm like, oh my God. And nothing in my brain clicked. Like nothing. I can tell you, anybody who was around me while I was pregnant can tell you, I had severe baby brain. Like, and nothing clicked like, Brittany, you may want to call your OB. Like, it's not even clicking because I'm thinking to myself, like, I know I'm not in labor. I'm only 6 months pregnant, which I want to backtrack again because when they found my fibroids, my OB, I asked which OBs. My initial OB had let me know, like, you are a high-risk pregnancy because of where my fibroids were, how big they were, and how many they were. He was just like, you are a high-risk pregnancy for premature birth and miscarriage. You need to take it easy. No heavy lifting, no sex, no this, no that. Like, I had a list of things I couldn't do. So I was like, okay. So once I got past the miscarriage, like, threshold, I didn't even think about premature birth. Like, I don't know why I just disregarded it. Because I'm just like, nobody in my family has been born preemie. So why would that even be an issue? So, yeah. So I was very much so warned. So, backtrack. So, yeah, I realized I couldn't pee. Then I get off work at 5. It's like 4:30. And I'm like, I tell my coworker, I'm like, I gotta go. And he was like, Brittany, we have a lot of work left. Like, can you just stay the extra time and help me? So I helped him, and the pain got so bad. I'm trying to walk fast and get to my car at 5 to get home. But I couldn't. So I'm like through the mall, like, and I get in my car and it's like, boom, like this sharp pain ripped through my groin and wrapped around my back. And I was in the car and I had already put the car in drive, and it hit me so hard I slammed on my brakes. All you heard was, ee! I'm trying to be low because the baby's taking a nap. And people like, well, turn it in the parking deck. And I was just like, God, just get me home safe. I cannot drive with this pain, but you get me home. And not my dumb ass stopping at Target. But I went to Target. I did a drive up because like I wanted to try to eat because I had not eaten in days, and I was constipated and I couldn't urinate. So I'm like, I gotta nourish my body some way somehow. So I did a Target drive up order. I go home and I'm trying to make pasta. So once I get home, at the time I'm not realizing it, but now looking back, I started having contractions, and they were about every 6 to 7 minutes apart. So I would have to stop on the stove, hold on to the kitchen counter, and just, and I would just tell myself, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And I was like, this too shall pass. This is only temporary. It's only temporary. It's just round ligament pain. It's just round ligament pain. And I was doing that. So it seems like time went on forever. Like I completely lost track of time once I got to my apartment. So long story short, I just started having contractions, and then at one point the contractions were every like 2 to 3 minutes, and a few times they brought me in here to my knees. Like I was in here on all fours, just like, and I couldn't. But in my mind, I'm like, you're not pregnant. It's too early. Like it's too early. She's not coming right now. It's just around ligament pain. And I remember at my last big contraction, I mean, it hit me so hard, and it was back to back. It was like not even a minute later, it ended and another one was starting. And I was on my bed, and I was laying on my side, and I have a huge headboard, and my face is chin up, pressed against the headboard. I'm on my side. I'm just like, and it hit me so hard that something in my spirit was like, get to the hospital and get to the hospital now. I jumped up, y'all. When I tell y'all how I pulled up at the hospital, but like when you in that much pain, you don't even care how you look to nobody. I jumped up, and I had a house fire back in 2019. So my brain already knows in case of emergency, you grab ID, phone, and if you can, social birth certificate. Like I'm just like that. Like my brain just like, because when you go through a traumatic thing like a house fire, you're just like, ooh. So I jumped up. I had a t-shirt on, no bra, green sweatpants, my old school Vans, and I had a headscarf on. And I grabbed my phone, my wallet, and my driver's license. And I got in my car, and I live on the 5th floor of my building. I called my mom when I got to the parking deck, and I'm like, in the parking deck, like fast wobbling. And she's like, what's going on? Because like when I was pregnant, my mother was on like high alert the whole time I was pregnant. And I was just like, I'm going to the hospital. Something's wrong. I need to get to the hospital. She was like, okay, drive as careful as you can. Now, on my way down the parking deck, because my building wraps like this, I get like to the 3rd floor, and I had another big contraction. I just had to slam on my brakes. And I just, and like, one thing I love about myself, if I have to think on my feet, depending on the situation, I can. So I just told myself, my mom's just talking to me. She's like, I'm scared about you driving, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I don't got time to call no ambulance, and I don't have anybody to really call. At the time, me and my daughter's dad wasn't on the best of terms, and I know I probably should have called him, but I didn't. So I was kind of like, and I'm extremely self-sufficient. So I was like, I gotta, and just to be totally transparent, I went through my pregnancy by myself. So I was already accustomed to him not really being around during my pregnancy. He would pop in and out here and there, but it wasn't consistent. So I was already accustomed to me not calling him for anything. So I went ahead and what was I saying? Oh, so I had a big contraction in the middle of the parking deck. I got out of the parking deck. Now, thank God I chose a hospital that I live nearby, about 15 minutes. So thank God. I guess I could just say the hospital because I love it. So my daughter was born at Northside Hospital here in Atlanta. Phenomenal facility, phenomenal team, phenomenal nurses. I had a phenomenal experience. Out of everything, that's the one thing I'm so grateful for is my hospital experience, my NICU experience. Like that, Northside Hospital is the best hospital I've ever had interacted with. And I Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So I don't live too far from Northside. So about 15, 20 minutes. So my mother was like on the phone with me. I said, Mommy, I can't talk and drive. I'm like, I don't know why. Like, I can't focus. She was like, okay, only thing I need you to promise me you're going to do is put your hazard lights on. And I was like, good idea. I threw my hazard lights on, had both hands on the steering wheel, and I told myself for every contraction I have, I'm going to grip this steering wheel till it's over and try not to close my eyes. And that's what I did. And then I stayed in the slow lane. And then I drove very slow with my hazard lights on so no cars are blowing past me. And when I got off the exit to Northside, I got off the exit and then the GPS said like 4 minutes away, 5 minutes away. And when I tell y'all I hit the damn gas. I hit the gas. So I don't know to this day where Northside's main entrance is. I only ever know the entrance that I've ever had to go through. And then I know, yeah, I only know of one entrance. So I didn't know what labor delivery. First of all, I'm not thinking I'm in labor. I'm thinking I'm having round ligament pain. I just want to go to the ER. I get to the ER, like drop off and pick up. You can't park there. But by this time I'm crying because I'm in so much pain by this time. I'm in tears and I pull up and that security guard, someone didn't take your job. But anyway, I pull up and I see security guard, I'm crying. I'm like, I need help. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. I need help. I just kept saying, I need help. I need help. I need help. And he was like, and I was like, I'm pregnant. And he was like, are you in labor? And I was like, no, I said no. I was like, no, but I need help. I just need help. And he was like, okay, stay right here. I'm going to get somebody. You know that man never came back? Anyway, so I went and parked in the police officer's parking spot because all the other ones are taken up. Because you technically can't park there to pick up. No, the parking spots are for like police officers, like workers. You can't park there. Like you have to pick somebody up, drop off. You have to keep moving, and it's a separate parking area. Whatever. I didn't have time for any of that. So I parked where I shouldn't have been parking. I was like, oh my God, I got into my car. And then God bless her, it was an older woman standing outside and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, no. And she was like, I'm gonna go get somebody. You look like you need somebody. And she had like a cane or something. Like, shame on that security guard. She had like a cane or something like that. And she walked inside. And next thing you know, I had to, and I could see her talking to somebody on the inside because the doors were open. And I put a mask on and I had a big oversized jacket. And I just put in my pocket, my top pockets, my ID, my phone and everything. And then another contraction hit and brought me down to my knees. I was on fours on my knees on the ground in the parking lot of Northside Hospital. And then next thing I know, 2 nurses were over me. And then one was like, come on, can you try to get up? And they had a wheelchair in front of me. They got me in a wheelchair. But at this point, y'all, I was in so much pain. I had stopped speaking because it's like I couldn't, like the contractions, contractions are no joke. Like, my mother did this 6 times and I don't see how, because contractions are no joke. So, in a minute, I'm gonna go check on my baby. So, they get me in the hospital. I give them no, she said, are you pregnant? And I was like, mm-hmm. And she was like, how long are you? And I was like, oh my God, I can't even tell this woman. So I was like, 6 months. She was like, no, weeks. And I was like, 24. She was like, and you're in labor? And I was like, no. And she was just like, okay. So they get me inside, they get me to triage and everything. And then next thing you know, oh my God, I didn't see his face. I didn't catch his name, but it was a man who they gave me to for the wheelchair and was like, get up to labor and delivery. And in my mind, I'm like, why are they taking me to labor delivery and not taking me to the freaking ER? Because I'm not in labor. But I'm still contracting. And when I tell you, this man was behind me, I mean, moving with me through that hospital. And he's just like, you got this. You got it. Just keep, that's right. He said, that's right. You grip them handles. He said, you got this. You got it. You got it. You got it. He was like, just breathe. You got it. You doing it. And it was just so encouraging because I was so scared and I was in so much pain. It was, and for that split moment, I was like, oh my God, I wish he was my child's father with me saying all this stuff. But yeah, and then he gets me to labor and delivery, but I'm like third in line. So he pulls me over to like a corner where I'm off by myself, and he was like, and I don't oh my I don't know why I didn't see his face. But he was like, I gotta leave you here, okay? He said, but don't worry. I already told the lady at the desk that you need help and she's gonna come help you when she's done with these folks, all right? He said, but I'm so sorry. I have to leave you here. And so I didn't say anything. I didn't even say thank you. And he left. I seen the back of him. He was a big guy. And he left. And I'm just in this wheelchair contracting. But the wheelchair had no, I was tall for the wheelchair because my head, I remember the back of the wheelchair, barely came up to half of my back because I'm tall. And so my head was back, and all I feel was like a hand, push my head up. And she was like, that can't be comfortable. And it was a older black woman, and I just was looking at her, and I'm just crying. I'm like, I'm not speaking, there's nothing, no sounds coming up, but just tears. And then she was like, are you pregnant? And I was like, mm-hmm. And she was like, how many weeks are you at the 24? She said, you're in labor? And I just, at this time, I didn't say anything. And she was like, give me a second. And I see her go to the desk, and the woman had a Hispanic family, and she's working with them. And then she just stopped, and she came in with a piece of paper. She was like, where's your pain? And at this time, out of nowhere, my chest started hurting. So I said here, and I pointed to my belly. And then she was just like, okay. So she gets on a walkie or a phone or whatever and calls somebody. Next thing you know, 3 women come out of nowhere off the elevator. And they come over and they grab me and they take me. Be right back. I'm going to check on my baby. Okay, she's fine. So, but she's definitely going to wake up soon. So, I get to the room, and this is where I may get a bit emotional, because anytime I get to this part when I tell somebody, I get very emotional. So, excuse me. So I get to the room, and they put those things across my belly. It's like a round thing, but I got a band on it. She put 3 of them on my belly. But I'm holding on to the bed, and I'm just contracting. Because now the contractions is back to back. There's no minutes in between. It's barely seconds in between. So I was in there with an initial nurse, and she's just trying to get information from me. But it's just so, and I was being, not that I was being difficult, I just couldn't get the words out. Another nurse comes in, and then she wants me to urinate in a cup. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, I can't urinate in no fucking cup. I can't. You want me to do what? And she just kept going about me peeing in this cup. And I was just so annoyed. So the woman went out. And she tried to find Summer's heartbeat. But I guess the thing wasn't working. I don't know. But she kept calling them for a new one, and no one was coming. She was hitting a little button. And she was like, I really hate to leave you, because she could tell I was in so much pain. But she was like, I need to go get this thing so I can find your baby's heartbeat. So I'll be right back. So then while she was gone, I snatched off the freaking... No, before that, I had took the thing. I started moving them around. She was like, you can't do that, man, because I need to track I'm trying to find a baby's heartbeat. You got to leave them on your belly. But they were so uncomfortable. So when she went to the room, I snatched them hoes off. I'm laying there, I'm contracting, and finally, I'm like, you know what, maybe I should try to pee in a cup, because, sorry, a pack of diapers fell. Maybe I should pee in a cup, because this will give me an opportunity to try to pee again. And I get up, and I go in the bathroom, I got the cup, and I'm trying to pee in the cup, and I just happen to move a little bit, and I see blood, so I'm like, what is this? And then I get up on the toilet, and I look at the bed, and it's just blood, just down the length of the bed from where my back was down to the bottom. And I'm just my heart hit the floor, because I was only thing I'm thinking at the time is miscarriage, she's not making it. And so I wobble over to the bed, and I just start hitting the button, and can I help you? And I'm like, help. So the nurse came rushing back in, and by that time I had sat back down on the bed, because I could not stand up, y'all. I couldn't. And so she walked in, she was like, what's going on? I said, I'm bleeding. And she was like, where? And I got up, and she was like, oh, okay. And so she walks back out of the room, and then she comes back in. The lady with the cup comes back in. Nurse with the pink shirt comes back in, which I loved her. Nurse with the pink shirt comes back in. And nurse with the pink shirt went into go mode. Started hooking up eyes. She's like, okay, Brittany, we got to get you hooked up to IVs. I hear Summer. I hear her a little bit. We gotta get you up to IV. So she was on my right side getting IVs going, and then I don't remember what the other two nurses were doing. They were still doing something though. And then a short little black lady came in who was a doctor came in, and she's just starting to get information from me. And then my legs were kind of spread, and between my legs at the bottom of the bed, she had like a little laptop. And long story short, it was like my brain goes in and out. Somewhere in there, I called my daughter's dad. He was just leaving work, and he to put it plainly, he said he was on his way. Let's just leave it at that. So that was fine. And in between, I'm, back and forth phone calls with my mom and my older sister. So at the time, I'm still not thinking I'm in labor. I'm just like, dang, this round ligament pain kind of getting a little crazy. No. So when I seen the blood and they came back in, before the doctor put the laptop at the bottom of my feet, I looked at them and I was like, I cannot lose her. I don't care what y'all have to do. I don't care what's going on. But I was like screaming, and I was like, I cannot lose my baby. Like, I cannot lose her. You have to save her. And like, they were like, calm down, calm down. I was like, I was totally beside myself. I was screaming to the point to where, like, cause before that I had been asking for pain medicine. So I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain. And they was like, oh, we can't give you anything. She's crying. I'll be right back. Okay. I have the queen down here. So basically, I was just completely irate. So the doctor was like, if you calm down, I'll give you a little bit of medicine for the pain. And when I tell you I calmed my ass down, I sure did. So they gave me a little bit of pain medicine, which helped a little bit. They must have given me like the lowest dose. And that's when they checked her. They put that little machine at the bottom of my feet, and she goes, yeah, she's 8.9. She's already 8.9. So my brain, you ever have a moment in life where a light bulb just clicked? And only thing my brain said, she means centimeters. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in labor. And before I forget this story, I want to say one thing. The one thing I regret, remember my last video, I said regret was one of the biggest things I had this year. Hi, boo-boo. Is not researching how to know when I'm in labor. Like, how to know, like, what I was so busy getting baby clothes and doing other things and working. That I just didn't research the really important things. Like how to know when I'm in labor. And I really I regretted that a lot because, I look back and I think like, I could have not been quick enough, and God knows, what if I would have went into labor here at home? Like, a lot of things could have gone wrong, but through the grace of God, they didn't. But I did regret that. So once I realized, like, oh my God, like, I'm in labor and I'm 6 months, like, I started to get really scared and I started to cry. So finally, they gave me, like, once they found her heartbeat, realized I was 8.9 centimeters dilated, she gave me like this shot in my thigh, and she was like, it's for the baby's lungs or something like that. So I was like, okay. And then the nurse who was trying to get me pee in the cup initially came back in the room, and she was like, do you have your doctor's information? And so I don't know why I couldn't remember where the name of my OB. I don't know why I couldn't, but they had called me and left me a voicemail a couple days prior. So I played my voicemail, and it played the name of I called the number back, and it said, thank you for calling Atlanta, blah, 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 blah. And then she was like, oh, okay, which doctor is it? And I was like, and I just was sitting there shaking my head no. So a lady with the pink shirt was like, is it a midwife? And I looked at her and I shook my head yes. And she was like, okay, Dr. So-and-so is on call for that OB for this evening. I'm giving her a call now. And then she came back in the room like 5 minutes later and she said she's on her way. So, mommy. So at that time, I called my daughter's dad again. That's another story that I probably won't share because just out of respect for my daughter, I won't share that because she may see this video one day. But I did call him again, and I got rolled into the delivery room, and I called my mom, and she didn't answer the phone. So I called my sister, and I had her call my mom. So I went in the delivery room, and while I'm in there, my mom starts calling back. No, my mom was calling while I was pushing. But so we get to the delivery room, and it's like 10 nurses in there. But I love that most of them was black, honey. So she gonna need a bottle in a minute. So I'm in there, and Dr. Maynard comes to my bedside. I didn't know her name at the time, but she comes to my bedside, and she said, I don't remember what she was saying, but she started to talk to me about the statistics of premature birth. And so I'm like, I'm trying to listen to her and have a contraction, and I'm just looking at her, and she's just trying to like inform me. And she was like, cause you're gonna have a very early baby. And she's just trying to be informative. And I'm trying to talk to her, and then she was like, okay, I'll stop talking now because I see you're still having contractions. And then one of the nurses looked at me, and she was like, you don't have anybody who's here with you who you can call? And I was like, mm-mm. And it was just really nice because the other woman, they were both black, and one on the right of me was like, don't worry about it, we'll support you, we'll be your family. And it was just like, sorry. It was just really nice of them because I was really scared. And then the initial nurse was like, there's a lot of people in here, so I'm just gonna stay here, and I'm gonna hold your hand. I'm not gonna let your hand go. When I tell you, that woman did not let my hand go the entire time. I mean, like, not till they rolled me out of that delivery room. She stood there with me, and she was the last nurse behind, but she was like, I'm not gonna let your hand go until you ready to let my hand go. And it was just really nice. So yeah, so she's just the black nurse, one on my left. I had one on my left, one on my right, and two on my left, one on my right, because the one on my left was holding my hand, and the other one was just like rubbing my hand. She was like, "Don't worry about it. Like, you got this. The hard part is over." So the midwife comes in, and she said, "All right, Brittany, we gonna do this. Me and you, we in this together." And I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, she checked me, and she was like, okay, Brittany, you're 10 centimeters dilated, and you just passed a very large blood clot because you've been laboring so hard. And she was like, she checked me again, and she was like, I can feel the baby's head. She was like, your next contraction, if you give me the biggest push you got, she'll come out in that one. And at the time, I was mentally, emotionally, and physically spent. Like, I had nothing. Like, to the point to where, like I said, I didn't even have the energy, the mental, to physical to speak. And I don't know how I did it, but I mustered up every being in my body. And when I felt that contraction coming on, the legs went up, and I let out the loudest scream I could, and someone came out and won. And I just looked down, and she like looked like a little alien almost. And so I blinked, and she was gone. That's how fast they pulled her out of there. And then, long story short, I had to push up the placenta, and then like time, I couldn't keep track of time. So I don't know how many minutes it was when Dr. Manor came back in the room, and she was just like, I gotta take her. And she was like, you want to see her? And I was like, yeah, I want to see her. And Summer was just tiny. And that's when I overheard someone say like, oh, she's 1 pound. And she was like, you want to give her a kiss? So I gave her a little kiss, and she was gone. And then I guess they had to find a delivery room, not a recovery room for me. They had to find a room for me. And so in the meantime, they took me to the freaking the recovery portion for women who have C-sections. So I get there and the nurse is trying to, I forgot what she was trying to do. And I was like, I didn't have a C-section. And she was like, you didn't? And I was like, no. She was just like, so what are you doing in here? And I was like, you need to ask somebody, but you ain't doing that. Whatever you trying to do to me, you ain't doing it to me. So they called my midwife back in. And then at that time, Summer's dad showed up. So Summer was born at 11:06 p.m. By this time, it's like about midnight. Because I was in that delivery room for a while because they just didn't know where to put me. So this was at the midnight, and he comes in, and then my midwife is talking to me about like just medical things. And then, yeah, after that, it's just medical things. Like they had to freaking drain, which it was so painful. They had to drain my bladder, and I didn't know my body could hold that much urine. But anyway, then her dad just sat with me, and then to end on kind of like on a funny note, I was like, you have to go get my car. And he was just like, what? And I'm like, my car. And he was just like, where's your car? And I was like, they're gonna tow it. It's at the freaking, I'm parked at like a police officer's parking spot. And he was like, shit, Brittany. And so he just grabbed my keys and he went to get my car, and he went to my apartment. He packed my hospital bag, and then he brought it back to the hospital for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my labor and delivery story for my little one. It was a crazy one. I drove myself to the hospital in labor, which I don't recommend that anyone do. But you know, when you're in that, I'm good in the mode of, I barely freeze. But when it comes to fight or flight, I'll choose one of those. So I chose fight. And through the grace of God, she's here and she's healthy. You know, she has her issues currently, but they're all looking up. And she's always taking my class, as you can see. And so yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. It didn't go, I didn't have a birth plan per se, but it didn't go, it definitely didn't go as planned. But you know, what can you do? All you can do is take what you got and just do the best with it. It reminds me of that video I saw on Instagram with Mariah Carey, and she was like, what did she say? I'm doing the best I can with what I got. You know what I mean? So that's what I had to do in that moment, and I did it alone. And through the grace of God, me and my daughter made it out of that safely, you know? And I just thank all those nurses and all the doctors and my midwife, and, you know, and my family found out, my phone would not stop ringing. Like, my family couldn't believe it. And then, you know, my mom was really upset that she couldn't be there. And it was just a lot. But, you know, through God's grace, you know, Summer and I are okay. We made it through that. You know, we didn't know about the road we had ahead of us, but we got through it. So yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And we will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye you guys.